Yeah, absolutely. So I guess the story would be when I came to America, to the United States. I was born in Mexico, and I came in 6.5 years old, going on 7. And I remember one of the ways that I wanted to learn English was to, turn on the TV, and I would turn it to channel 2. And the first channel that would come up early in the mornings was I don't know if you know about this program out here. It's called The Price is Right with Bob Barker. So it's like, hey, everybody, like come on down. And I was 6.5, 7 years old. And eventually, obviously, I learned English, but that's how I would just through TV, through experience. And I remember when I was a little kid, I told my mom, like, I'm gonna be on that show and I'm gonna win a car. I'm gonna be on that show and I'm gonna win a car. I watched it throughout the years. And I remember when I was at UCLA, 19 years old, my we have like the RNs, or the people who take care of the floors, right? As we live there, they're like, hey, we're gonna go go see a viewing on CBS on The Price is Right, and there's like an extra seat available if you want to go. I was like, I'm in, I'll go. And went home to visit my parents. I didn't have a car at the time, so I like took a bus, and I barely made it. Like the bus was literally almost leaving the parking lot as I'm like running to get on the bus because I was gonna miss it. So I jump on the bus. We get to CVS, which wasn't far from UCLA, and got in there. And there's a gentleman there. They're like, hey, like, I've known people that have been in the show. You gotta show your personality, show them who they are, because they're gonna ask you crazy questions like you're doing right now with me. They're just randomly asking you questions, and so that's how they interview you to figure out who's going to be up on stage, right? And they asked me some random questions, whether I like surfing or what was I studying at UCLA. And as we go inside the studio, where we sit down, and then within seconds they're like, so and so, come on down, right? So I was the first 4 people that they called down to The Price is Right, and I'm like, oh my god, bye mom. I had my UCLA sweater on, super excited, and every single time I would get it wrong. So like I was the first group, first, second, third, middle ground. Bob Barker would make fun of me because I was just off on everything. And then fifth, fourth, fifth, and then the last thing, they were showing a navigation system at the time. It was 2001. And I guess last, and I'm, the first person's like 700. I'm like 701, Bob, 701. And it was like a $1,400 thing at that time or so. And so I got up on stage, I'm super excited, like grab them, twirl them around. And I played the game one away, which is you have to say, hey, they give you a number, you have to go up or down every single time. So I got them all right the first time. And I was the first person, what they said in history in 40 years, that got them all right the first time. So I won a car right away. So that's how I got a car. And long story short, the reason why I'm sharing this story is because that car that I had won, was awesome. I paid taxes for it. I did all these things. I went, on the wheel, went to the showcase, did all that stuff. But the story that I'm going to share is really I was working really hard. I was trying to, make a living, be able to, help pay for school, and work super hard. I was pre-med at the time, so I was taking my finals exams, and I was just tired because I was, waking up at 3, 4 in the morning, going to bed like at 10 at night. And I was heading to my parents' house because we had a huge event the next day for the company I was working with. And, like when you're in school, like you're driving and, you doze off and you're like falling asleep. So I'm like, oh gosh, I'm tired, I'm falling asleep. So I like roll down the windows. There's a sunroof there. So I opened my sunroof and I'm driving, home. And as I'm driving, I'm just like, I'm almost home, right? And then as I'm turning the freeways, there's freeways here. There's the 60 freeway going on the 15. I'm driving and I just like doze off for like a second or so. I don't know how long it was. And then I wake up with a smash. I go straight out the freeway. So I don't turn freeways. I hit it and I kind of like wake up in the middle of the air. And I'm like, I'm going to die. Like I literally felt like, I'm flying off on a freeway, and my whole life flashed between my eyes. Like it was just, when they say it's kind of hard to explain, but it was just this flash of like visional moments that you're experiencing. And then it went all the way to my funeral, and my mom was right over me, like just crying and bawling, and it's all happening at the same time. And it's hard to explain that emotional vision, like this presence, the universe, God, but this energy was kind of like, you're kind of ready to go. Like, are you ready to go? That was the kind of like the experience that I had. And I'm a believer, and I'm like, God, I'm not ready to go. Like, please keep me here. And within all the seconds, I hit the ground, like I hit the ground, the car starts rolling around. I have still scars from the motor. I don't know if you see them, they're still here. But I don't know how, I took off my seatbelt as the car is spinning. I fly off my sunroof, the car is on fire, and then I land on top like a Bible that I carried with me. And the car pretty much, I had blood everywhere and all that stuff, but people came, try to help afterwards, and they thought I had died. The ambulance came to rip off my clothes, making sure I didn't have any bones or, not drinking, all that stuff. So I survived that crazy crash, and I was in the hospital for a while, and, I went home, cleaned up, and I still went to the meeting. I borrowed a card, and by 8 a.m. I was at a meeting. So I was home for like 2 hours, rested, and took a shower and left. Just because I was so committed to work. But that experience, Tommy, really changed my life, because knowing that anything that's given to you, like your wildest dream or that moment, anything can be taken away right away. And it wasn't that I didn't appreciate it or I wasn't grateful. I was definitely grateful, but it was like I experienced like how life can be gone immediately. And so I kind of made a pact to myself to really live out my best, to really live fully, to travel the world, to help people, to serve people, to really make an impact, to live their life, to really experience everything that they have to experience. And that was like my internal commitment to people, to life, to connecting, to either, whether it be spiritual, whether it be reaching your goals, whether it be making a difference in someone's life, or just living life, experiencing breathing, experiencing eating, experiencing a hug, experiencing everything that life has to offer you, because it can be gone so quickly. So that's kind of like the internal commitment that I made to myself, and to live that life. So I do that in coaching, I do that in sales, but it's on a day-to-day, right? But this is how I can directly make a difference to people. So well, that's the story I would share, and hopefully whatever experience comes out of it, or emotions come out of it, or whatever it is, I would be able to do. So that was my story.